Hello guys, how are we doing? Now, as you guys are probably aware already, this isn't my normal sort of video. For those of you who are new to the channel, or even, the rest of you guys, I usually do competitive COD sort of gameplays and help tips and tricks and try and help you guys improve your gameplay. And I'm just there for the ranked content, to be honest. That's mainly my thing, that's mainly what I do. But as you guys are probably aware, I took a 2 week hiatus due to getting a new puppy. And as a result, I've been playing COD for 2 weeks, and as a result, my gameplay just isn't up to the scratch as what it normally is. And I don't want to be putting out lackluster content. I know I want to be putting out videos for you guys to enjoy, but I didn't want to be putting out gameplay below the standards you're used to seeing on this channel. So I thought, hey, let's do something fun. I've never done one of these before. This is my first tier list. Let's do a Vanguard weapon tier list. I'm going to be going through all the guns. I don't think it's including many DLC guns because I really haven't played pubs more like quite recently. But it's got most of the guns in there, and yeah, I'm going to be going through, and you're going to be seeing the best guns, what I think are the best guns, um, and and going down to absolute garbage. So let's start off with it as the M1928. Now, I like this gun. This gun is definitely viable. I'm going to leave it in there for now. None of this. I'm going to might move things around a bit. I'm going to say this is definitely viable. I don't think it competes with like the proper guns. I'm leave it there. It's middle ground for now. Let's see how it goes. It's fast fire rate. It's quite forgiving, but the recoil's a bit wacky, so it is only good for those close range guns. Now, Owen gun. I wanna say this is not Warzone. This is for multiplayer and competitive sort of things. Anyway, obviously the banned guns in competitive here. I'm gonna just be basing it off multiplayer, that sort of thing. But I'm going to be putting I think the M1928 or the Tommy gun is much better than the Owen gun, so I'm just going to put it here. But I wouldn't say it's below average. It's definitely viable. Type 100. Okay, tell you what, I want to be putting everything in here. Type 100, I feel is very viable. I think I prefer it to the Owen gun. It kills really quickly, especially with the most recent time to kill. But the recoil pattern is just bizarre. I think it's more visible recoil than anything, but that's where I'm putting that. PPSH, I'm going to say is below average. Yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'm going to pop it there. I'm an SMG guy, as you can probably tell. So I'm going to be putting it there. Einhorn revolving, below average. Absolutely not great at all. Actually, I want to put that in niche. Combat shotgun, I'm going to say is viable. It was a nightmare. I think this was meta at first. At the beginning of the game. I mean, Das House at the beginning of the game was, well, when it came out, it was chaotic because there were so many people running around the combat shotgun. But they've nursed it. You're seeing a bit more competitive guns come through. Therefore, I'm going to put the combat shotgun in viable, probably above these two, to be fair. Gracie Auto, definitely below average. I haven't used these much, to be fair. I'm not the shotgun sort of guy, but when I have used them, I'm like, this is just not working. And the double barrel shotgun, I think, is garbage. I don't think there's any reason you would want to use these other than the for S&D. So in that case, I'm actually going to put it below average. I don't think it's garbage. If you're playing pubs and a respawn, I think double barrel's the worst loader in the world. But hey, moving on to the MG42, definitely viable, but I think you've got to play quite slowly with it. So I'm going to put it down below average. I'm going to keep my standards quite high. I think it's below average. I'd rather use these guns over it. Just it's my sort of play style. And as I say, this is all my opinion. It's not what is outright the best gun for you. But this is just what I'm finding best to use when I do play pubs and when I used to run pubs all the time. DP27. I like this gun. I'm actually going to put DP27 with the right setup. And when I used to play pubs, this was one of the guns I used to run quite often. It had the mobility of an AR, but it was just dominant. Get a Pearson vision on, it's nuts. And I'd rather use that than any of the guns down here. STG44, I'm going to put up here. It's very top meta, especially at the beginning of the game. It was the gun to use, the AR to use, and I still think it holds that top AR spot with Vital, that sort of thing. It hits hard, it's quite good at mobility. Maybe not for the ultra long ranges, but I feel like, for those medium to long ranges, the STG is the gun to have. Type 11, not for me. I want to put that probably there. I rate the LMGs over the shotguns, but I do think it's below average. The Bren, I want to put viable actually. The Bren I'm going to probably put there. Yeah, I'm going to put the Bren there. The only thing I don't like about it is the huge magazine that comes out the top. I know the Owen gun's the same, but It's just not for me, and it doesn't have the mobility I require. Actually, I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna move that behind the PPSH. I'd rather use the PPSH, that's for sure. M1 Garand, you know what? I'm gonna say is viable. I'm gonna put the VAR end of viable just because I don't think it's actually it's the worst out of the viable guns I've had. It's a single shot fight. It requires a little bit more skill to use, but it is fun and it is satisfying. And I'm gonna go with a similar thing with the SVT, but I think it's a little bit better than M1 Garand. But the G43 I think is far below average. I'm not a fan of it at all. And to be fair, yeah, I'd put it above the shotguns, but below the LMGs I've got in that section. Type 99, sniper rifle. Ugh, not a fan. I'm going to put that in the below average. I'm probably going to be wanting to use it more. You know, I want to move the G23 above the Type 11 like that. And I'm going to put it in between there. Yeah, I think I'd prefer to use it over the double barrel, but I think I'd rather use the Grey Seal. Actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I don't want to use a shotgun. Of those two shotguns anyway. 3-line rifle, I'm going to put... I don't think it's... Like, sniping isn't easy on this game. That's for sure. It's definitely not easy. But this is below average, but I'd prefer to use it than either of the guns in here. For me, it's better than the Type 99, but it's not quite up to the standards of the Kar 98K, and which is the best sniper in the game, in my opinion, and it would still go in viable. It takes a lot of skill to use. It's not forgiving whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think it's the... I wouldn't say it's competitive. I mean, you use it in competitive, and in the right hands, it's a demon. But you know, you've got to take. It's a lot of practice to use, and it does take a lot of skill. So I'm going to put it in viable. Moving on to combat shield. As a weapon, it's garbage. I think it doesn't kill. Obviously, it's just one of them things I don't even want to talk about it too much because it's a combat shield. Yeah, and as a primary weapon, not a fan. The rat. Okay, I'm going to move the rat to competitive here. The rat, with its incredible fire rate, kills so quickly. I would rather you... I'm maybe basing this as a secondary gun. I think you can get a couple of kills easily, and you will kill quicker than any other gun. Like it deletes people. I don't know if you guys watch CDL, but it just, in the right hands, bit of a trigger finger, it drops people. Honestly, it's very competitive. It's very viable. So that's going up there for me. Automaton, get that up there. It's got to be top meta. This is, I think I'll put it. Yeah, just because it's in comp, I'm going to put it above the SCG. It's the go-to long-range AR. It shoots straight. It kills quickly. I do feel like you have to have a good connection in order to use it properly. But I do, it's a good gun anyway. It's quite forgiving. And since they upgraded their magazine a couple of months ago from 25 around to 30, there's no reason you wouldn't be using this. The SCG is obviously better in the medium ranges, I would say, but taking the absolute long shots with the Automaton, with an AR, I would much prefer to use the Automaton. Top break. I'm going to put, actually, as a second, this is for a second, don't forget any secondaries, I am actually going to be doing it as a secondary. So I think as a secondary, it is viable. I don't think it's competitive, and I don't think it's below average. It's quite, actually it's below average. Let's be real with ourselves here. Definitely below average. It's not quite the same as the rat. The fire rate is really slow. Yeah, not forgiving whatsoever. The 1911, I'm going to put in viable. It's just a bit of it's an average secondary in my opinion, and it belongs there. The Klauser. This is actually not bad, I'm going to put it in viable, but above the M1911. Yeah, I'd prefer it to the M1911, but I don't think it's quite as good as the rat, so I'm going to pop it there. Machine pistol, right? That's going there simply because it can destroy. I know you can, as a secondary, you can finish off an enemy really quickly. You really with a fast fire rate. I know the recoil is nuts, but if you're in a close range engagement and you're trying to run around with a pistol, get around the map, and you come across someone close range, you can beam them with this. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I prefer it to the Klauser and the the 1911. But as I say, it doesn't quite beat the rat. The rat's got that long range and the versatility that it doesn't have. Bazooka. These are all just going down here. Not a fan. These are great for taking out rocket streaks and stuff, but to actually kill people, it's just not fun. I'm going to put knife in. It's got to be better than combat shield, but I think it's niche. yeah, I'm going to put it in niche. I don't think it's as bad as the combat shield, just because you can kill quite quickly with it, and you got the movement with it. But obviously, if you 1v1 in someone's play, for example, with any of these secondaries, you don't want the knife. That'll be one of the last ones you have. So yeah, that's going to go there. The Ultra Burst is actually quite decent. I'm going to put it at the top of viable. With the right setup, you have to play really slow because the mobility is god awful with it. But I'm going to put it there. I think it's a very good gun in the right hands, and with the right setup, you can fry with it. The bar, that's going up there. The bar for me is a go-to gun when, it's so sub pens is a great map for it. The mobility is shocking, so you have to almost be ADS every time you're in a gunfight before you enter the gunfight, because otherwise you're just going to lose it unless you get lucky hipfire. But it kills very, very, very quickly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move it up to here. I'm even going to be that bold. It's the gun I pull out when I need to step up. I need to get my kills. I need to get campers out, and pubs. So I'm going to put it up there. I don't think it's quite as good as these two because of its slow mobility, but that's where it's going to go. The AS-44 had a buff recently, so I think it's a little bit more viable than these guns here. It's certainly more viable than the Ultra Burst. So I'm going to put it as competitive. There's a couple of loadouts out there which are absolutely nuts with it, and it is seen in ranked play. And I've been killed by it before, and I'm like, what on earth just killed me? And it was the AS-44. So I don't think it's quite top meta because it does take a little bit more. It's not quite as reliable as these guns here, but I do think it's definitely a competitive gun. The NZ41 again is going to go. I'm going to probably put it. Above the DP27. It's a very good gun. As I say, the mobility is quite slow, but it's slightly better than the bar. But I think it kills quickly, and the recoil is not bad at all. I think it's a fun gun to use. I haven't used it quite so recently, to be fair, but it was one of the first guns I used as an AR, and I don't really enjoyed it. Volkswagen, get that in top meta. Now this was my first ever Vanguard video. Was best gun in the game, and it was this Volkswagen, and since then it's been GA'd in the CDL. So clearly I was under summer. Mix headshot into your kills. This kills faster than a lot of these guns, and it's perfect for that like mid-range gunfights. It's better than I'm gonna put it. Tell you what, let me put that there. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's perfect for those mid-range gunfights, and it can drop people very quickly. With a headshot, it actually kills people faster than the MP40. Talking of which, that's going to go there. Yeah. Now, tell you what, that's going to go there. I've got to have these two at the top, haven't I? Let's be frank. The MP40's got to be with the auto at top. And to be fair, I do believe the MP40 is slightly better than the Automaton. You don't quite need quite as good as a connection to win your gunfights with it. So I'm going to say I'd say that's the best gun in the game. And now I'm very biased because I'm mainly a ranked content creator. And it's in the CDL and it's not GA'd and so on and so forth. So, and I am I'm in my blood. I am a SMG player, so that's just got to be it. Anyway, moving on to the Sten. Viable, I would say. It's not quite as good as the Owen, but I'd prefer to use it over the SVT and M1 Garand, so I'm going to pop that there. Cooper Carbine, very good gun. I'd say it's top meta. It's in a very similar place to Volkswagen. It kills very quickly. And to be fair, I'm thinking about this. This is a toughie. In pubs, I think I'd rather use the Cooper than the Volk. And as I'm comparing these two as pubs, because obviously they're GA'd in CDL and you can't use them in ranked, I'm going to put the Cooper above the Volkswagen. Finally, we have the Grinco anti-tank rifle. This is actually quite a fun gun to use, especially with the iron sights. If you're accurate with your shots, it's very good gun, and I'd say it's very viable. I much prefer to use it over any of these, maybe below the Owen gun. I think it belongs there. Right, so let's quickly look through this before we finalise it. So the top meta, I've got the MP40 and the Automaton, Cooper Carbine, Volkswagen, SDG, and the bar. There's a lot of ARs in there, actually, isn't there, for a sub player? I just don't think any other sub competes with the MP40, so you just might as well use the MP40. Anyway, that's that. And then comp, you've got the Tommy gun, NZ41, DP27, AS44, Rat, and the machine pistol. I I'm going to put the AS44 above the DP. Yeah, I think that's more right. And viable. Tell you what. Yeah, I'm going to put the subs at the beginning here. So you've got Type 100, PPSH, Itra, Kar98, Combat Shotgun, Bren, Owen, Anti-Tank Rifle, Sten, SVT, M1 Garand, Klauser, and then 1911. And then below average, I would say with these guns. Now, I think some of these in Viable are also below average. However, I also think they're viable. And as I think I can use them, I'm going to put them in. I'm going to keep them there. I'm going to keep them there. Below average, you've got the 3-line rifle, MG42, G43, Type 11, Type 99, Gracie, double barrel, and the top break. Really, if you're using these guns, you're probably only really going for camos at the end of the day. And a similar thing with these ones. They're very niche. If you're ever using these, you're probably only going for camos. And to be fair, I don't think this should be there. I think this should be there. As a secondary, I'm basing this as a secondary. I'd rather have this than any of these. Especially when it comes to, well, yeah, I'd much rather have this than any of these. You get the mobility, it's quite fun. And garbage, you got the right shield. So there it is. I know it's a bit of a long one. I know it's different to my usual videos, but I do hope you've enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see your guys' reactions, what you think is actually the best gun, what you think I've made up, I've cocked up here. And it would be great for you guys to leave me comments down below for me to see what you guys think of this tier list. So that's going to be me. Don't worry, I have got gameplays coming up soon, but for now, while I'm still grinding, trying to get to the level I was before I took a 2-week break, I'm going to be posting, well, I've got this. The next video most definitely will be a gameplay one. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.